Welcome back to What Would It Cost? On today's episode, we're sitting with Anthony Miniaci from Remax Experts, and we're talking how he went from banking to real estate. Welcome to the podcast.
Thanks for having me, guys. Pleasure to be here.
Oh, it's great to have you, and we're excited because for myself, it's not much. I get a lot of old bankers, ex-bankers like myself, so I'm excited to hear your story of how you went from the bank to real estate, touched on mortgages a bit.
Yeah.
And I think it's awesome because there's not a lot of times you have a realtor that has that finance background as well,
right?
Where they really understand, okay, this is what it takes to get the financing at the bank. I think it helps with, the overall for the clients and taking through the process.
Yeah, it definitely does. I mean, I got started back in 2016. It'll be 7 years this April. And I left the banking world, which I spent, about 10 years in. And I started off at TD Bank, as you and I discussed a little bit earlier. Back in 2006, I started, I worked my way up the ladder. I was a bank teller and then moved into financial services, started doing mortgages, started to get a real good grasp of this type of market in general, real estate and mortgages. And I remember I left TD in 2012 and went over to National Bank. It's funny, they walked me out of there like I was a criminal. Where are you going? I'm going to National Bank. Okay, well, leave your shit there. And they literally escorted me out. It felt kind of cool. I'm not gonna
Is that
lie.
how it goes down?
Yeah. And the thing is, it happened twice because then I went to National Bank. I spent a few years there. Another great experience. And when it was my last day, and the manager at the time, his name was Don. He says, "Ant, I gotta escort you out." I'm like, no, we're not doing that again. He said, "I have to." So dude literally walked with me. I had to leave my coat. It was freezing that day. I left my coat, everything. Couldn't really say my goodbyes. Came back in. I said, "No, listen, these are my people. Chill. We're fine." And anyway, just I remember when I left, I walked out of the bank and I took a deep breath. I was like, wow, this is a big change. And I was like, holy shit, I'm not getting paid on Thursday. I gotta really figure this out, right? I gotta get myself moving. And I remember transitioning into the business. It was kind of difficult because, unless you have a really big network to begin with, it could be a little challenging unless you're really pounding the pavement every day. And thankfully, I had some clients that I was really tight with in the banking world, and they had my information. And hey, I came in on Monday. Where are you? Oh, this is what I'm doing now. Mm-hmm. And they kind of followed me, which was great because I was running a mortgage business at the time as well. In my first year in real estate, I made no money. I did one deal. $7,653 was my paycheck. I said, holy shit, what a year. What the hell? What did I get myself into, right? Yeah. But thankfully on the mortgage side of things, I had enough clients that were still in need of my services, and they just trusted me enough. They followed me over. And that was what kind of helped that year for me. It wasn't an amazing year, but it was enough to get me by, really start to understand the ropes. And then, my second year is when it kind of just took off. And it was a great year and just been scaling ever since. And now I've got a team as well. There's 6 of us, the Miniaci awesome. Group.
Nice.
It's all family members, which it's got its pros and cons as well. It's working with family is great, but it has its difficulties too. But it's fun. It's been fun. It's we've got my wife on board, Barbara, my sister-in-law Nikki, my brother Nicholas. Yeah. We've got my long-standing friend, one of my longest-standing friends. His name is Amen, professional basketball player. I always make this joke. I've been friends with. He's 6'8". I've been friends with him since I was taller than him. I just stopped growing. I go, dude, why didn't you invite me over for some more dinners? What was going on in that household? You skyrocketed to this 6'8" professional ball player. Anyway, I just remain short like the rest of us. But and then we got my buddy Yao, comes from the hospitality industry, so we've got a very well-rounded team.
Nice.
And it's been going well so far. Everybody kind of has their role and plays it well. And and this is kind of where we're at, right? We've been experiencing some great success over the last 7 years. It'll be 7 years soon. But last year was a little bit tougher for kind of obvious reasons, things that change in the marketplace. But we're looking to do some big things this year, as the majority of us are. We've got some ambition and looking forward to 23.
Yeah, very cool. I find that piece so interesting in regards to the institutional experience and then moving over to the brokering side of it, doing what you had to do in the meantime to make ends meet while practicing the real estate side of things. And now you're, fully immersed in the real estate side, leading a team, and that layer of confidence that gives you, when you're in front of a client and when you're talking to the team and when, the finance subject does come up, like the way that you could, add that experience to the team is just, I feel fantastic. I feel as it would be fantastic, right?
Yeah, and it's been great. And to touch on that too, it definitely gives me that level of confidence, but more importantly, it gives the client that level of confidence too, because I come from a world where I have a really vast understanding of the entire process as a whole and what, exactly what you need to do ahead of time. It's not just, hey, I'm ready, let's go buy something, we put an offer, done. And there's so many complications that can arise. So I kind of specialize in just helping people prep ahead of time for it. And it's worked really well. I mean, the clients have a lot of confidence, and I've always kind of been that guy, that financial guy that people kind of go to for some of that advice. And now transitioning it into the real estate side over the last 7 years, it's worked really well. And to be honest, my business has been 100% referral based. Like I can't even say 99%. The other 1% we've got ad spend. It's been 100% referral, which is great. And only now, we're really looking into some more heavy advertising. But sometimes that referral well can run dry at times, as we all know. Not because people don't want to refer business, but sometimes things slow down. So you can't just rely on that, right? And you got to expand a little bit. But we've been fortunate enough to be a referral-based business for quite some time now, and we love that, right? It just shows that level of confidence that people have.
Yeah, and not only for you showing up with the client and the team and having that confidence, but even like the back end ecosystem, like you working with a banker or a broker and being able to talk their language, understand the acronyms, like where a lot of that, like the backbone of our business and our target market is realtors, right? So you could really tell like who is educated with it and who isn't. And we're happy to educate the ones that aren't, right?
Yeah, for sure.
But it's nice when people, on the other end we're dealing with know what they're talking about, and it just speeds up the process and it makes it so that it's smoother. Much smoother of a transaction, right?
Exactly.
That's awesome, though.
That's great. Yeah.
And question, I'm very interested in the 6-person team and more so family piece. Like, how do you get by? How do you shut off when you go home at the dinner table with the wife? Do you shut off? How are you separating business and family? Like, how does that start to look like? What are your challenges with that?
Yeah, so I think the biggest challenge about working on a team with family members and leading that team is your family members. They know all your flaws.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
They know the good and the bad.
Yeah.
And it's not like, it's not as if you're running a team where you just fake it till you make it. I'm the leader. I don't ever take that position. Nobody works for me. We all work together. But shutting it down at home it's not so easy.
Yeah.
Because people, we all have questions. We all got, some challenges that each of them are facing on their own, and I'm the guy that's there. And it does make it difficult to just flip the switch and turn it off and say, guys, it's 9:30. Let's talk about this at 9:30 a.m. tomorrow. Like, I just want to buzz,
Yeah.
But you can't. It's hard sometimes. And my wife, she's a full-time employee for a multi-billion-dollar corporation. So she kind of just helps me on the back end. She's not really fully immersed.
Okay.
But she's super eager to learn all the time. And I remember it was just the other night. It was 11 o'clock. Hey, Ant, do you think you can just quickly go over this? I give her props because she's doing her 9 to 5, and then she's spending all the rest of her time really trying to figure things out on this side of things. And I think it's fantastic, but makes it a little difficult for me where I'm like, but it's 11 o'clock. It's not even halftime in the late game.
Yeah.
Like, give me another 20 minutes. Let's wait till halftime, and then we'll talk about it. But it's really hard to shut it off, man. You guys know it's almost impossible to turn it off.
Yeah.
And I got people sometimes that are calling me, even outside of the team, even just other guys or girls in the office, and even clients. It's 11 midnight sometimes, and sometimes it's hard because if you're picking up that call at that time, you're setting the expectation that I'm here for you at midnight too, which in a time of crisis where I've dealt with that, I'm there. I don't care if I don't sleep that night as long as we get this shit taken care of.
Yeah.
But if it's just hey, listen, what do you think about this? I'm probably not going to respond to that. We'll talk about it in the morning, kind of thing. And I do find it challenging to shut it off. You know, we got to actually we got to consciously take some time to step away from the business. Yeah. Usually it's like my Tuesday nights, for example, is like the break night, and Sundays is where I just spend with some family, which is kind of difficult because I'm spending it with family on a Sunday and we're talking business again, right? But yes, I think the biggest challenge is trying to take that leadership role and everybody's able to kind of call you out. Dude. Hey, I get it. I'm still learning the leadership side of things, which has its own challenges, whether you're with family or not. But I'd say that's probably been the biggest challenge. It's fun though, you know. We make it work, and I always turn it into something humorous too. Just take the edge off a bit. But
that's what we do too. That's what we focus on. At the end of the day, I always say what we do is boring. It's mortgages. You know what I mean? You gotta make it fun. No one's gonna want to be there. And I think we've done a great job at that, definitely making it fun, because like I said, they love being there. We love being there. Hell, last night I left there at 11:30. Him and I were talking till 2:30 in the morning. Oh my God. we picked back up again at 6:30. Hey, did you sleep?
As I knew when I seen his face today, I was like, I want to see like how his hair is. Yeah, you should look like that.
But you love what you do, and just to tell a quick funny story, I didn't even tell him this yet because we barely even get time to talk. It was New Year's Eve, so with my buddies got a banquet hall. We're there. I get a missed call from a client, like it says mortgage referral. It's 11 o'clock at night, so she texted me at 11:30 after. Hey, this is so-and-so. I'm calling regarding a mortgage. So I text her back saying, hey, sorry, just at an event for New Year's Eve, but what's up? It's just like, it's nonstop. And like you said, like when we started off, that's what I was, 11 o'clock at night on a Sunday, 9 o'clock on a Saturday, Tuesday, we'll answer because I want that business. I want to show people I'm there, I'm eager. But yeah, to that point, I was like, okay, I guess I trained her for it. So 11:30 on New Year's Eve, she doesn't care.
Yeah.
So we were talking well into New Year's. Hey, Happy New Year. Yeah, Happy New Year. Yeah. Okay, so I'm looking to buy this one. What do you think it should do? So it's hard to definitely find that shut off. And I can imagine more so with family as well involved.
Yeah, definitely. It's got its challenges, but we, like I said, we make it work and we make it fun. It's a good time. I was with the team yesterday in the office. We were doing some more business planning for 2023. It's funny, we're in January already in 23, and we're doing our business plan in 23. It should be done in October, but it's kind of one of those things where we just made it formal yesterday. Yeah, because I'm with these people all the time. They're my family and close friends, and I'm always with them. We're always talking about business planning, but finally just putting it on paper and solidifying. We did that yesterday, which was fun. We kind of did it our own way. Like I'm big on coaching. Mm-hmm. I have a couple of coaches, actually. A real estate coach, Tom Ferry. I'm not sure if you've ever heard of Tom Ferry. Yeah. Number one real estate business coach in North America. And I don't work for Tom Ferry. I'm not advertising him or anything like that. But I love the experience that we've had so far. And recently, we've hopped onto the Sirhan training as well. Wow. Okay. Which is pretty cool. So we're kind of incorporating all of that, and it's been great, man. It's been great. When I'm looking forward to what this year brings, right? Like there's so much uncertainty out there, as you guys know. Yeah. And it's questions that so many different questions that people have. Yeah. Everyone's kind of trying to figure out the way to make a move this year, right? And whether it's going to happen or not, or what do I do? Do I wait on the sidelines? What does that kind of look like?
Right. What are your thoughts on the outlook for this year?
I mean,
it's open, safe space, no judging. I just always love to see everybody's different opinions on it.
For sure. I think if you really have a pulse on the market, forget about the fear mongering that happens in the media and all that. Yeah. There's always truth to an extent. They take it a little bit further, I think. There's definitely some fantastic opportunities if you're on the buying end. Everybody's sitting on the side. I'm going to wait till prices drop. So what happens when prices bottom out? Everybody comes back to the table and we're seeing multiple offers again. And all of a sudden the opportunity is not really there anymore. Mm-hmm. I think if you're in a position where you need to make that move, it's still a pretty good time. Now, with all these rate hikes, I know we've got 8 calls this year. Who knows if they're going to hike it again 8 times? Who knows? But with each rate hike, it just puts the further downward pressure on pricing, which we've all experienced. But it also increases everybody's stress test, right? Is that correct?
Yeah.
So it goes up another half point. Now all of a sudden my stress test is another half point. Like, it all kind of works together. I don't think anybody has the ability to really time the market properly. You know, there's no consistency. You know, there'll be a spot that'll sell for $800K, and then tomorrow that same spot is selling for $900K. Like, what was the difference? Or vice versa, 100,000 less in one day. There's no real consistency. So I think finding something that is affordable for you and that you can maintain and look at it as a long-term play. We're not in the market where people are buying in October and then they're flipping it in February for $500,000 profit. It doesn't work like that anymore. And I think that a lot of us are starting to realize that. A lot of, you know, the general public, I would just say. But a lot of people are still, you know, calling me, looking and saying, "Hey, I want something I could buy now and sell it in a few months for $200K." I said, "What?"
Me too.
If I find it, I'll let you know. No,
yeah, exactly. You know,
we'll take all those off your hands, bro.
Oh no,
it's cash so buyers. True. I think it definitely is the long-term play. And the whole phrase I've been going with even having clients in front of me that are stressing about the rates, like, you know, you date the rate, marry the property. Just find the home you love. Because you show the comparison. Like, we were looking at one, I was showing them a year ago, the property, it was listed, it was $900,000, 2.45% rate. I'll be honest, can't remember the payment, but what stuck out to me was, I remember this year was $700,000, 5.55. It was a $49 difference. It was cheaper by $49. Yeah. But on top of that, you also just saved $200,000
on your down payment.
So to go to your point about the stress test, yeah, that stress test is higher, but you're stressing against a lot less.
Exactly.
And then you have the first time home buyers again, or even people that they're not first time home buyers but looking to move to another property. Your $1 million is coming below $1 million now. So you could put your 10% down, your 11, 15%, whatever you like.
Yeah.
I had a family that came the other night. We were working with them for 2 years. Nothing happened. Finally, they're approved. They're putting their $60K down because they could get a property that they like that was affordable with that $60K down versus last year, $200K. That was it.
Yeah.
A minimum to get to that $1 million price point.
And so everything was $1 million.
Again, it goes to your point. It's like, it's that fear mongering where it's like, okay, you know, comb through the crap. Where's the silver lining here? And I think there's a lot of silver lining still within the market. It's like, yeah, rates are skyrocketing, prices are dropping, you can't flip houses, but there's still that silver lining where you can still make out great. For sure. It's the long term again. Everybody always forgets the past. It's like, oh, but you know, this guy bought a house last year for $500,000 and he flipped it for $1 million. Why can't I do that? Well, it's going to come again eventually, hopefully, maybe 8-10 years. But just remember the past before that where, again, that wasn't happening either.
Yeah, exactly. And, you know, I mean, to touch on first-time home buyers, I love working with first-time home buyers. I don't have a specific niche or anything like that. I've kind of found the beauty in all different cycles. You know, I love working with first-time home buyers because I remember the feeling it was that I had when I turned that key for the first time. I was like, holy shit.
Yeah.
I have my own place. Yeah. Then I stepped in, I'm like, holy shit, I got a mortgage payment coming out in a couple of weeks, right?
Yeah. That's sick.
But just kind of guiding them through that process has always been so much fun. And I like to make it fun. Mm-hmm. And you know, I've got so many stories of, you know, just some experiences. I remember I was working with a first time home buyer one time and I showed them a place in Springwater, Ontario, which is, it's up north of Barrie. And we walked in, and I'm really selling this place. I'm like, oh wow, this is such a beautiful living space. We walk into the master bed or the primary bedroom, sorry, and we walk into the primary bedroom, and I'm like, holy shit, these cathedral ceilings, like this is an amazing space. And am I allowed to swear on the show? All of a sudden, all you hear is, what the fuck? I'm like. I turn around. So there's a naked chick in the bed, surrounded by syringes and pills, and I'm like, "What the?" And she's like, "Who the fuck are you?" I was like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. Like, I'm here to show the place. No, tossing a syringe. Okay, I'm exaggerating a bit, but it just missed me. I said, holy shit. I turn around. All I see is the back of my clients just jetting out of there, right? Like, let's get the fuck out of here. Threw a couple of pill bottles. I was like, what the hell is going on? And the agent calls me for some feedback. Hey, Anthony, just wanted to get some feedback from your showing. Well, and I kind of let him in on it. He's like, yeah, we've had some problems. I say, hey, man, it would have been nice if you gave me the heads up that you've had these problems. This, like, what the hell was I supposed to do in that situation? And it's so funny because, like, this client is a really good friend of mine. We've been friends for such a long time. So it was really easy just to laugh about it. And it's still a story that we talk about to this day. In fact, she'll tag me on Instagram with, like, some stuff about when the tenant approves the showing but is still there and is like kind of like naked in the screen. We'll tag each other in these memes. It's but I mean, anyway, like it made a really, really different experience for them, and these are kind of stories that I'm able to tell some other people along the way too. And
it makes the job fun.
It makes it fun. Yeah. And then, you've got the next cycle where people are moving up. I love working with move up buyers because, something new has come into their life. Maybe they're having a baby girl or a baby boy or something, and their family's growing. And you have the opportunity to find that beauty in kind of learning what that's all about. Like, I don't have kids, so I don't know what that's like. And working with clients that have that sort of dynamic, it's cool to help them find the next place where they're going to call home, make all these memories. And then you've got the downsizers after later in life. There's so much fun in that. I find that's my favorite aspect, I would say, because now you're helping them leave this home they've been in for the last 20 years. For the most part, it's a little dated too. So you give some recommendations on how you can spice it up. And all of a sudden they come in and they're like, holy shit, this is my house. How did you guys
do stay?
And that's my biggest fear all the time. You know what? I think we're not going to sell. I said, no. The sign's already on the lawn, guys. Let's go. Awesome. It's just, I find so much joy and I take so much pride in helping really guide and educate people. And I think it's on us to really, and like you said, the silver lining, really finding those silver linings. They need us to help them with that. Because pulling through the weeds, like you kind of mentioned, to find that, it's difficult, and it's really on us to help educate. And like there's 77,000 agents in the GTA. Yeah, I cannot tell you confidently that all 77,000 really know how to the right way to be guiding, right? Not to take a stab at our industry or anything like that. Maybe we'll cut this part out.
No, it makes sense. And like the fact that you got that banking and institutional experience behind you, the family business, so everyone's hands on deck. You guys care. The 7 years in the business, and now you weathering the storm of what we're moving into in regards to this recession after coming off such a hot streak. Where we've been talking about it most recently, and you're seeing a lot of people fall off. You're seeing a lot of realtors going to get part-time jobs. You're seeing a lot of people that can't really withstand this market. So that's when you're going to really see those experts that you speak of really stand above the rest, right?
Yeah, and I think there might be a stat out there. I believe it's 11% of agents have kind of dropped off.
Okay, there you go.
So even at 10%, 76,000, that's 7,600 agents.
That's a nice chunk. It's a big chunk.
It is big.
It's like we were talking about before too, like off screen we were saying, I was telling you about the agent course when we went, that half the class was realtors because they think, okay, we could do both. And like we were saying, it's like you even managed it for a bit, you're crushing it, but you burned out. So it's like you had to give your all. And the other half, the teacher, he pointed it out, he's like, this is not a get rich quick scheme.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's what it is in our industry on both ends, on the mortgage side and the real estate side. It's where you're lacking on caring for the clients is because, again, you think it's like get rich quick.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of work behind it. There's, you're dealing with people's lives. You're playing with their lives if you treat it like that. So I think, to go to your point, there's 77,000 agents. There's 11,000 mortgage brokers in Ontario, but there's ones that are not in it for the right reason.
Yeah, absolutely. You're always going to find that bunch that's, hey, I see dollar signs.
Yeah.
You know, I ask even guys on my team and even other new agents that come into the business, I ask them all the time, like, why are you here? Like, not because I don't want you here, but I'm asking you, why did you decide to get into this business? Mm-hmm. And if it's just because you see dollar signs, like everybody's motivated by money. Let's be real. We all are. Everybody needs to make money. But when that's what defines you, it starts to speak volumes in front of the client too. Right. And the client will read right through that bullshit.
Right.
Okay. And those are the guys that are going to start to drop off. And I think we're going to see that in both industries, mortgages, real estate.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
It's not, this is the market where, like you kind of mentioned, where the cream of the crop kind of rises to the top.
Yeah. I like that. It rhymes.
Yeah. Right. I didn't want to say it, but it kind of did. Yeah.
Like that.
That's a good one. We'll use that, but we'll quote you on it.
Yeah. I know it was awesome having you. So thank you. Really appreciate you sharing the stories and sharing your story, because again, it's unique in the sense that you had that finance background, and you know, it's a lot of the times the family real estate brokerages, these are ones that span 30 years back. So it's awesome to see that the new generation you're starting that right now.
Yeah, for sure.
I haven't met anybody yet that's really starting. There's a couple, but there's not many that are starting the family team right now. So that's definitely awesome to see.
Awesome. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. And thank you guys for having me. This has been it's been awesome. It's been fun.
No problem.
Yeah.
And let everybody know where they can check you guys out.
Yeah, you can check us out at www.miniacigroup.com. You can hit me up on Instagram at anthony.miniaci. You can follow the rest of my team: Barbara, Nikki, Nick, Eamon, Yao. Shout out to all you guys, and a special shout out to my boy Anthony DeToma. Him and I started the same time in the real estate business, and we were both just two guys that had no idea what was next, and we've developed this great friendship and business relationship that I think without us having each other, I don't know if we would have really made it this far. So shout out to you too, brother.
Awesome. Awesome. And thank you again for tuning to this week's episode. Be sure to like, follow, and share, and we'll see you next week.